everyone, and welcome to POLS 558, which is pretty much just a research methods or statistics class for the MPA program here at UI. So my name is Dr. Marky McBrayer, and this is probably my favorite class to teach. I really love statistics and research methods, and ultimately I really enjoy reading all of your final papers too. They're really interesting and innovative. So I just want to say, welcome to the class. Welcome to POLS 558. So let's jump into how this course is going to work. So your grade is going to be based off of a few things. The first is professionalism and participation, which is worth 20% of your final grade. Homework assignments, which are worth 40% of your final grade. And finally, there's a research paper, which you're going to submit in stages over the course of the whole semester, and it's worth 40% of your grade. It should be noted that even though this research paper you work on it over the course of the semester and submit it in stages, all I will ultimately grade is the final submission though. Okay, I'll talk about that a little more though later. So let's jump into the first component of your grade. It is professionalism and participation, and again, it's worth 20% of your grade. Each week, you'll be assigned a short lecture accompanied by a set of readings, and in later weeks, you'll also have a lab using the statistical software R and RStudio. So you'll just need to get and keep on top of these things as you take this class, just to keep these full professionalism and participation points. But let's get into a bit more detail about professionalism and participation. After reviewing the readings, watching the lecture, and completing the lab, there's probably going to be a discussion board with a brief prompt or one or two problems to work through in some weeks. In the first few weeks, the prompts will be a bit more abstract, and as time goes on with the homeworks, we'll get more into mathematical problems. Again, though, there are problems here that I don't really expect you to get right 100% of the time. This isn't about you being right 100% of the time. This is just practice in many cases, and it's not about the right answer. So if you're trying, then you'll get your professionalism and participation points. If you're putting forward all of the steps and calculations and you get a little off somewhere, you'll still get your full points. It's more about effort and carefully thinking through a problem rather than getting it right 100% of the time. So the next part is the homework assignments, and there are 6 of them worth 40% of your grade. And most are a combination of math problems, coding in R, and interpreting output from R. And they are due on February 3rd, 17th, 24th, March 10th, March 31st, and April 21st. And I'd strongly recommend you put these in the calendar because they are important. I want to sort of conclude our discussion of homework assignments with a little bit of a notice. So here's not a warning exactly, but I want you to remember this. You are going to be new to R and RStudio and probably some of the statistical tools and formulas that we use here as well. If you're having trouble, say you get stuck on an R issue for more than 15 minutes, please reach out to me. If this were an in-person class, you could just raise your hand and I'd come over and help get it squared away. But because you're online, there really aren't the same modes or methods for you to get help. I would say try to struggle with it for a few minutes and see if you can't figure it out on your own. But after those 10-15 minutes, if you haven't figured it out, I'm here to help you, and I don't want you to go this alone. So just send me an email if you have any trouble with anything, okay? Next up is the final paper, which is worth 40% of your grade. As mentioned before, it's going to be done in stages because revision is key. I am just an enormous believer in revisions. Most of my papers and my colleagues' papers have many drafts, probably 20 or 30. This is because we're constantly revising, updating, working on, and improving these papers. As a consequence, I design your paper submission in a similar way. You're going to be building off of previous stages. You're going to be revising. So your deadlines for this paper are over the course of the semester. The first is stage 1 on January 27th, where you'll submit 3 research paper ideas, and I'll provide you a bit of feedback on ones I think would work or maybe not for this class. The second stage is a literature review on February 10th. The third stage is theory and hypotheses, the section for that, and that's due on March 3rd. The fourth stage is on March 24th, and that's a data and methods section. And then the final draft is due May 10th. Now, this looks very vague, but there are really, really detailed instructions on Blackboard, and in fact, that is where we are headed now. Now, this is your course. This is the online course, and the first thing that we're going to look at here is the syllabus. As you can see, this, I should actually put it on student preview, just so it's just like how you see it. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the left-hand tab. And it has all the necessary information for this class. So announcements, my grades, homework assignments, syllabus, research paper, weekly readings, activities and discussion, and then Zoom office hours. Intuitively, on the syllabus page, you will find the syllabus. Surprise! This is definitely the most important course document you have, and you should definitely read it over. Like, read it in the next day. You can see the course description right here. I'm not going to read it over because I think you're capable of reading this on your own. I think that would also make for a really boring video lecture. But you can see my Zoom office hours right here. You can see what the textbook is right here. Berman and Wang's, Essential Statistics for Public Managers and Policy Analysts. You will need to buy that. It is important. We do read from it. It is the 4th edition from 2013. Next up is the course requirements, which we've sort of already gone over. Professionalism, 20%, homework, 40%, and your final paper, 40%. Just move this over a little. These are just the course rules. They pretty much boil down to here. Be nice and respectful with both your peers and myself, particularly in discussion boards and your emails. I don't think I need to lecture you all on that. Many of you are professionals already. But here is a section on academic integrity right here, which is pretty much a don't cheat or copy other people's work. I think that's pretty obvious, but I'm going to put that in there anyway. Here is CDAR, the section on CDAR. And if you need any accommodations, make sure to touch base with them. Their contact information is here as well. Next up is the Healthy Vandals policy. Even though this is an online class, I just want to notify you of the measures we're taking to prevent COVID transmission through our university and community. If you come into a UI building, you've got to wear a mask. But really, I include this because something unexpected might come up this semester. Maybe you or a family member or a friend get sick. You don't need to provide me any documentation or anything like that. You can just say, I'm not feeling well and I need an extension on this project or something like that. And I can be flexible with you here if something comes up, particularly this semester in this year. Next up is the course calendar, where you can see what happens each week. Right now we're in week 1, right here. I want it to highlight right here. January 13th through 20th, and there's nothing really due, but next week, week 2, is more like a normal week, and you'll need to read these 2 items, Berman and Wang's Chapter 1, Kelstedt and Witten's Chapter 1, and you'll also need to submit stage 1 of your research paper, which is just 3 ideas for your research paper, okay? So when you have a moment, I strongly recommend that you look through the syllabus. It is important. But where we will mostly be in Blackboard this semester is this tab. Let me go back. This tab here, weekly readings, activities, and discussions. Right now, you can see all the weeks here. Each folder will have readings, lectures, and labs for the week. The labs will start kicking in a bit later in the semester. But if we click on week 1, just to give you a feel for what's here, every week folder will look pretty much like this. The first item in this folder is your to-do list for the week. Please complete all the following assignments by Wednesday, January 20th at midnight, or really 11:59 p.m. So Wednesday, January 20th at 11:59 p.m. Read the syllabus, watch the week 1 lecture video, which you should be doing right now, purchase the textbook, post a brief introduction post on the Introducing Yourselves discussion board in the week 1 folder, and try and download R&R Studio. So how this is going to work is I'm going to send out an email every Wednesday morning and say, this is what's due for the following week. I'm going to send out an email on the 13th, and you'll need to complete all those assignments by the following Wednesday, January 20th at 11:59 p.m. Here you'll also find a video lecture, what you're currently watching, in fact, and then the Introducing Yourselves discussion board down here. And then a video on how to install R&R Studio on your machine. Again, though, I'm going to send out an email on Wednesday morning, and you'll have a whole week until the next Wednesday at midnight to complete these assignments. And here, just a reminder, is a discussion board where you introduce yourselves to everyone else in the class. I just want you to get a feel for each other. So please complete this by January 20th at 11:59 p.m. You'll just want to post your name, where you're from, what you hope to get from this class, and your favorite celebrity encounter or your favorite Netflix show. And even though this isn't a face-to-face class, we're going to be interacting with each other quite a bit in discussion boards, over email, and with each other as colleagues, with just me. So I would like us to get a bit more comfortable with each other and get to know you to the extent possible online, because we are going to be interacting quite a bit. And at the very bottom, there are instructions right here. Actually, it's one up. There are instructions in this video for how to download R&R Studio on your computer. This is from Mark Marin, and it's just a super helpful video for how to download it on your own machine. I also want to show you what week 2 looks like. Because by week 2, we'll be shifting away from like introductions and what the syllabus looks like, and more to a substantive class, a class of substance. Again, you can see at the top here the to-do list. So I'll send out an email on January 20th saying, I want you to complete all these things by January 27th. Read Berman and Wang, read Kelstadt and Witten, participate in discussion boards, listen to the week 2 podcast, and stage 1 of your research paper. And I'll show you this one in a minute. And here are the readings for week 2. Now I've posted Berman and Wang chapter 1 here because I post chapters from your textbook the first few weeks as we wait for your textbook to arrive. But be aware that in later weeks, Berman and Wang chapters won't be posted because I'm anticipating that your textbook would have arrived by then. So I'll post a couple of chapters in the first few weeks of this class to get you by until your book arrives. Now, just to check out some of these other tabs on the left, let's check out homework assignments where you can see all 6 homeworks. Homework 1 is already posted. Here are the guidelines here. These are the guidelines. This is a little bit of supportive material. And then here is the submission link. This is just an example of what homework 1 looks like. Next up is the research paper tab, since we've already gone to the syllabus tab. Clicking on the top one right here, or really this is the bottom, excuse me. These are the final paper research guidelines. I'm just going to click it open now. I'd highly recommend that you look this over because these are the guidelines and roadmap for what your final paper is going to look like. This way you'll get a sense of what I'm looking for in the final submission, particularly what sections you're going to need. So read this through briefly, just so you get an idea for what your final May 10th submission is going to look like. Going back, this is stage 1 right here. So it's the guidelines say, please Brainstorm 3 ideas for a potential research project in this class. Write up a brief paragraph for each topic and include at least one academic source for each idea, showing that your work speaks to a pre-existing body of literature. Submit this through the online submission link on Blackboard by January 27th at midnight. And back here, you can see the submission link right here. And one more is a link to the Zoom office hours right here. So I hold Zoom office hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Monday and from 2 to 4 on Tuesday each week, with the exception of like holidays. Like I won't be holding office hours over spring break or MLK Day or President's Day, but that's standard. If you'd like to meet in Zoom office hours, please join using the following link. If you want to meet with me during these times, just click on the link and it'll bring you to Zoom office hours. Be aware, though, that I'm not holding in-person office hours this semester for COVID-related reasons. So if any of you have ever been to my office before, it's super tiny and not well ventilated and would just not be a good idea. Okay. Now back to the PowerPoint. For next Wednesday, January 20th at midnight, you need to complete the following. Read the syllabus. Obviously, you've watched all the way to the end of this video, so you're almost done with that. But you'll also need to read the syllabus, purchase the textbook, post a brief introduction post on the Introducing Yourselves discussion board in the Week 1 folder. I also want you to try and download R&R Studio now on your computer. There's a video in the Week 1 folder telling you how to do this. And if at any point you have trouble getting it onto your machine, please, 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 please email me. Having R&R Studio is just one of those things that you will need this semester. There's no getting around it. You have to have it. And so if you have any trouble downloading it, it's better if we find out really early in the semester, and so we can fix it really quickly. Okay. Now, if you have questions either today or over the course of the semester, how can you get in touch with me? Because naturally questions and things crop up over the course of the semester. You can obviously email me at mcbrer@uidaho.edu. I will almost always get back to you within 24 hours, unless I or a family member are ill. I respond relatively quickly to emails, maybe not in 20 minutes or anything, but I usually respond on weekends within 24 hours. Now, if you want to chat with me during office hours, as previously mentioned, you can meet me on Zoom. I have Zoom office hours from 11 to 1 on Monday, and then from 2 to 4 on Tuesday each week, except on holidays. If those times don't work for you, just let me know, though, and we can schedule another time if you'd like. We can be flexible here because I know many of you are probably working professionals, and if you have a crazy work schedule and you need to meet at, say, 8 p.m., I can make that work. We can make that work. You'll also have to probably compete with a small child talking to me if it's at 8 p.m., but we can make it work. I'm pretty flexible on this. In any case, though, I am just super, super excited to teach this class this semester and get to know you over the course of the next few months. In any case, though, I will see you all in the discussion boards.